As Costco is getting pretty close to its 52-week lows, many of you asked me to review the stock again. Even though I did a video on the stock before, I'm going to do a quicker review in today's video and talk about, Costco stock, my valuation model on it, what I believe is a good price to buy, and maybe a better alternative than actually buying Costco stock, which is a much smaller company and it's like 30 to 40% cheaper than Costco. We're gonna take a look at all the different variables today and determine if Costco is a buy or not. So again, I hope you enjoy it. Now, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Costco, so I'm not going to waste your time on this. They have these huge warehouses. A lot of people, they go there, they shop there, they buy things like bulk items and stuff, and they save a lot of money by paying a yearly membership to Costco. They also save a lot of money on gas, as many Costco warehouses, they have gas stations and people, fill up their gas for cheaper. And I believe you know the story, so I'm not really going to waste your time on this. But Costco does have around 845 warehouses worldwide in the US, in Canada, in Mexico, in Japan, in the UK, pretty much almost all over the world, and they are expanding a lot internationally. But I talked all about those specific in my previous video, and in this video I'm going to focus more on the valuation model. But despite the challenging environment that we were having, Costco was still able to grow sales around 8%, which is very, very impressive, although net income only grew 3%. But I believe this is still impressive. And this is one of the reasons many of you want to own Costco stock, for the environments that we talked about many, many times, which is a sustained higher inflation than normal, a very bad environment for earnings for the coming years, and something like Costco could actually do amazingly well, in my opinion. And this stock is very much loved from dividend investors, not because it has very high dividends, but because the company grows the dividend around 13% annual. In 2004, their dividend was only 40 cents annual, and now it's around $3.60 annual. So this is massive dividend growth, and many dividend investors, they like to buy Costco for pretty much the dividend and the stability of the business. But again, as I'm not a dividend investor, and as most of my viewers are not dividend investors, what we personally look at is the valuation model to determine if Costco is a buy or not. And this is where my biggest problem comes with Costco, and it's the valuation. And I believe Costco is extremely overpriced at this specific price, even though we look at a historical basis and we could look pretty much from 2015 to around 2018, 2019, it always traded in this range between a peak of around 28 to 29 times earnings, as low as 24 to 23 times earnings. So it traded between 23 times earnings to around 29 times earnings. Now, after COVID, interestingly enough, Costco shot up to the sky around 45 times earnings. This is forward PE. So 45 times next 12 months type of earnings. And again, it shot to around 45 times. And now it came back to earth a little bit, but it's still sitting around 30 times earnings. And I believe this is extremely expensive for your stock, not only on a historical basis, but also on a relative basis to other type of companies than you can buy. Something like BJ's Wholesale Club, which is one of my favorite in the space actually. Now you could buy Costco at 30 times earnings, but you could also buy BJ's at 18 times earnings, which is a much smaller company than Costco, with pretty much the same business model of the warehouses and the gas station, but their warehouses are a little bit more designed for smaller families and single people, which is actually not bad at all. They are also expanding all across the United States, and it has much more growth than Costco. It doesn't pay a dividend, but they do a lot of share repurchases, and they pay back their debt to save a lot on interest rates. But Costco does have a little bit higher return on invested capital than BJ's, but I don't believe it merits BJ's trading 40% cheaper than Costco, which is why BJ's has been outperforming Costco in 2022, and I believe this could actually continue to do so as Costco comes back to earth. Don't get me wrong, I love the business model and I love everything about Costco, but it's not enough for me to just go and overpay for Costco if I can buy the same business model for 40% cheaper than what I can buy with Costco, and I have much more growth ahead again than something like Costco, which I believe is amazing, and I don't believe Costco merits such a premium to other type of smaller companies in the space that have the same business model and even potentially more growth than Costco. But all we talked about is pretty much not enough. We have to look at my valuation model to determine if Costco is a buy or not and what kind of upside we are actually looking at. Now, for my valuation model, I use the $226 billion of revenue, which what Costco made in 2022. I used 8% sustained revenue growth for the next 5 years from 2023 to 2027. And this is pretty much in line with the analyst estimates. In fact, it's higher than the analyst estimates. And it's possible that Costco can, maybe grow 10% a year. But this is not something I want to bet on. I normally bet on the worst to mid case type of scenario. I don't bet on the best case scenario. With the net income margin, again, it's very low, around 2.8%. This is the business models. They have, low margin retailers. So 2.8%, this is around $9.3 billion of net income in 2027, which is 5 years from now. Now, this is where this whole thing come in. And I'm going to make a small correction here just to show you what kind of upside you can get with Costco, and I believe it's not a lot of upside. Now the company is trading at 35, current earnings, so the last 12 months, so 35 times earnings, and I put in Costco at 30 times earnings in 2027, which is 5 years from now. And I believe this could be even rich for Costco, as the more Costco grows, the lower the growth is going to be as it becomes a much more mature company. And this is just, basic economics. It's nothing personal. It's no feelings or whatever. This is just the way most companies are. And I don't believe Costco is a different story. So putting Costco at 30 times earnings, which I believe is high, the upside is only 40% over the next 5 years, or 7% compounded every single year, not including the dividend, of course. Now, 30 times earnings, in my opinion, is very, very expensive. And even looking at that stuff, to me, Costco is not a buy. Although many people, like such upside of 7, 8, 9% every single year. And this is not bad at all if this is what you're looking for. But what I'm looking for a double in the next 3 to 5 years. And if I have any stocks that cannot double my money over the next 5 years, I'm not going to buy this individual stock. So this is why, for me, Costco is not a buy. Now, even if Costco trades at 35 times earnings, which again is very expensive in my opinion, it's only 63% on the upside, not including, dividends. Maybe with dividends it's like, 70% or whatever. But again, Costco is still extremely expensive, and this is just the way it is. The only way I would buy Costco is if Costco was trading around $320 per share or lower, as this is my buy price to actually be able to double my money buying something like Costco stock. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of pushback on this, as Costco has some type of a cult following where it's only Costco and it's the best in the world. I agree, it's one of the best business models in the world, but the stock is very, very expensive, and this is just the truth in my opinion. Unless I'm making some type of mistake in this valuation model, which sometimes I do, but I don't believe I am. And even with using, approaches with like a 35 times earnings, Costco is still not 100% upside over the next 5 years. So therefore, I'm not going to be buying Costco unless it's below $320 per share. Other than that, I would rather buy something like BJ's Club with 30 to 40% cheaper than Costco, and it's the same business model. So again, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please press the like button and maybe consider subscribing. So I hope to see you in another video.